Are you trying to get top marks in your IGCSE English writing, but you just can't seem to break through? Well, it's probably because of two little, almost invisible traps that can swipe up to 6 marks right from under your nose. So, in this explainer, we're going to expose those traps, and I'm going to give you a super simple 4-step method to sidestep them and finally unlock that perfect score. So does this sound familiar? You're putting in the hours, you totally get the topic, but your writing grade, it's just stuck. If that's you, trust me, you are not alone. Examiner reports tell us again and again that tons of students hit this exact same wall. And it's not because their English is bad, it's because they fall for the same 2 mistakes every single time. All right, let's meet the villains. First up, we've got the prompt trap. This is when you basically just copy or slightly reword the bullet points from the question. Now, to an examiner, that just screams, I have limited ideas and vocabulary, and bam, you lose marks for content. Then there's the tone tangle. This is when you use super formal words like moreover in an email to your best friend. It just shows the examiner you haven't figured out who you're talking to, and you lose marks instantly. But here is the good news, honestly. Dodging these 2 little traps is your direct ticket to full marks. And yeah, I'm talking a perfect 15 out of 15. The method we're about to go through is designed to do exactly that. So stick with me because later on, I'm going to break down a real, full mark answer just to prove to you that this thing actually works. So what's the secret weapon? Well, it's a 4-step method. And the best part is, you can use it for any IGCSE writing task. We're talking emails, reports, reviews, the whole shebang. It's simple, it's structured, and most importantly, it's repeatable. You can do this every single time. Okay, so here's the game plan. Step 1 is rubric rigor. That's to get the basics down pat. Then, originality injection to really make your ideas pop. After that, register lock to get that tone just right. And we finish with signpost structure to make your writing super smooth. Let's dive in. All right, step 1, rubric rigor. Now listen up because this is crucial. Before you even think about writing, you have to find and underline 2 key things in the question. Who is your audience and what is your purpose? Think about it. Are you writing to your principal to suggest something, or are you just writing to a friend to share some news? That one decision right there at the start dictates the entire tone of your piece. Get this right, and you're already on your way to top marks. Okay, on to step 2, and honestly, this is the secret sauce, originality injection. You've got to think of the bullet points in the question as just the starting line, okay? They are not the whole race. For every single prompt, your job, your mission is to add 1 new, specific, interesting detail that you just make up. This is what the examiners call development, and it is literally the difference between a C grade and an A grade. Next up, step 3, register lock. So once you've decided on your tone back in step 1, you have to lock it in. The easiest way to think about this is like having 2 different toolkits. You've got your informal toolkit for emails to friends with words like anyway or guess what? And then you have your formal toolkit for reports with words like furthermore and in conclusion. The biggest mistake you can possibly make is mixing them up. You've got to pick one toolkit and stick with it for the whole piece. And our final step, step 4, signpost structure. Your goal here is to make your writing so easy for the examiner to read, they don't even have to think. So how do you do that? Well, for reports and reviews, just use simple subheadings. Yep, they're totally allowed, and they scream great organization. For emails, just make sure each bullet point gets its own new, clear paragraph. It's like you're holding the examiner's hand and guiding them through your points. Okay, so theory is great and all, but let's see how this method works in the real world. We're about to break down an actual student's answer that scored a perfect 15 out of 15. This is the proof, right here, that our 4-step method isn't just a nice idea, it's exactly what top-scoring students are already doing. All right, check this out. The task here was to write an email to a friend, Emma, about a jacket she lent you that, well, you damaged. This student absolutely nailed it, got a perfect 15. So let's dig in and see exactly how they used our 4-step method to pull it off. So right off the bat, step 1, rubric rigor. The student knew their audience was a friend, Emma, and their purpose was to apologize. Look at that opening. I'm reaching out to let you know. It's perfectly conversational, right? It's not stiff or formal. And just like that, they've set the right tone and are already earning marks for creating what the examiner calls a strong sense of audience. Now look at step 2, the originality injection. The prompt just said, explain what happened. A weaker student might have just said, I accidentally damaged your jacket. boring. But this student, they invented a whole story. They were at an event, they were served tacos, they spilled hot sauce all over the place. That's what brilliant development looks like. The examiner actually called this skillful, and that's exactly the kind of thing that gets you top marks for content. And do you see how they keep that friendly tone going? That's step 3, register lock, in action. Phrases like, "You are a lifesaver," and "I'm so ashamed." That's personal, it's emotional, and it's perfectly informal. You wouldn't write that in a formal report, right? It's how friends talk. And that consistency is precisely what the examiners are looking for. And finally, we've got step 4, signpost structure. You can see the student organizes their ideas into nice, clear paragraphs. And they use these simple but super effective little linking phrases like, "as you know," and "as I said." These are like little signposts that make the email flow smoothly and make it effortless to read. And that's a huge deal for getting a high score. Okay, so now that we've seen what a perfect answer looks like, let's circle back really quickly to those 2 traps we talked about at the beginning. I want to make sure you know exactly how to dodge them. Remember the prompt trap? Yeah, a low-scoring answer would have just rephrased the bullet point, right? But our 15 out of 15 student didn't just say there was a problem. They created the entire hot sauce disaster. That is the creativity, that is the originality injection that earns you the highest marks you can get for both content and language. And what about the tone tangle? I mean, this comparison says everything. On the left, you've got a low-scoring report that starts with, "Hello, teacher," which is just way too informal for a report. Then on the right, you see a high-scoring one with a formal, objective tone from the first word to the last. The difference in marks between these two is massive, and it all comes down to locking in the correct register. And hey, here's a quick pro tip for you straight from the examiner's own guidance on how to nail that formal tone. Try to avoid using the word "I." So instead of writing, "I think we should hire more staff," try something like, "It was suggested that more staff should be hired." See how that instantly makes your report sound more objective and way more professional? Phew. Okay, we have covered a lot. So to make this all super practical, I put together a final checklist for you. Use this every single time you do a practice answer, and you'll start building the right habits for the real exam. So before you put your pen down, just run through this list. First, audience check. Is my tone right for this person? Second, expansion check. Did I add one original detail for every prompt? Third, linking check. Are my connecting words from the right formal or informal toolkit? And last but not least, word count check. Am I in that 120 to 160 word sweet spot? So, let me leave you with this final thought. The IGCSE writing exam, it isn't really just about grammar. It's a test of your versatility. It's about being a chameleon. Can you put on different hats? Can you be a serious reporter 1 minute and then a casual best friend the next? Because mastering that switch, that is the real key to success. Okay, so your next step is really simple. Go find a past paper question and just try out this 4-step method. I want you to see for yourself how it can totally transform your writing. The more you practice with this system, the more it'll just become second nature. Good luck with all your revision.